Hi, this is Greg with Walnut Ridge RV. Today we're going to be doing an orientation on the Hideout 272 LHS. So we're going to start up here in the front today. This one does have a ram powered jack on it. Pretty easy to operate. You got your standard up and down, extend and retract button. And of course it's got a light here in the front so you can see at night. This also does have a manual way of cranking it just in case something happens and you lose power. We have a crank inside the storage there. You can use that to manually get that up and down. Now behind that, I already took the cover off, but we have our two 5-gallon LP tanks here, and these will both come full when you pick up from us. These have a standard auto switchover regulator, and basically what that means is you can leave one tank off, or when you have both tanks on, sorry, whichever way you have this lever pointing at, it's got a arrow on it. So right now it's pulling from this side. Once this side is empty, it'll automatically start pulling from the next tank. So if you have your refrigerator running off gas, or your water heater or something like that, and you run out of LP, it won't shut off on you, especially in transit with the refrigerator. That way your food stays cold. One thing you'll want to know is that whenever this particular model, most of them nowadays, whenever it is empty, it will have a little red piece that comes up here in the front and behind the glass telling you that this tank's empty and now it's time to flip the lever over to the next tank, and then you'll know when that one goes empty. You can also leave one of them off, and when stuff stops working, that way you know you still have one full tank left. Then you can just shut that tank off, go get it filled, turn this one on, flip your lever over, and then proceed from there. I'm going to put the cover back on. Put the cover back on, always make sure the flap and the two little nuts it has faces towards the front, because you don't want it flying open while you're driving. It'll fall off. Behind that you'll have a 12-volt standard deep cycle marine battery. The battery will supply all your lights and things in the coach. That battery will charge whenever you're hooked up to your vehicle or to the 30-amp cord supplied in the back. The battery, you won't want to disconnect that if you're not going to use the unit for a few weeks, so it doesn't go dead. You have a few things that are hardwired on the inside, so just go ahead and disconnect the negative. It's just a 1/2 inch. You can take the nut off, disconnect the negative, and that way your battery is still fresh, or you could use a trickle charger if you'd like. Moving around this side, you have pass-through storage. This particular model has a solar panel hookup, so if you wanted to buy separately a solar panel, this is where it would plug in, and that would also help charge your battery for when you're dry camping, and just to help charge the battery while you're at home. So our pass-through storage, it's got a little door on this side, a bigger door on the other side, so you can fit your chairs and everything like that in there. This unit's got standard stabilizing jacks. These are just stabilizers. You don't want to use these to level the camper. So what you want to do is just carry a little small level with you, and use your tongue jack to go front and back. And if it's really unlevel, you might have to drive up onto 4x6, 2x6 blocks for side-to-side leveling. Once you get all level, you go around and check your level on maybe the countertop, the floor, and the back bumper. And once you're perfectly level, you can go ahead and drop these jacks down until they're snug, and that's as far as you want to go. This unit has a slide out on it. The main thing on these is maintenance. You want to pay particular attention to the rubber seals. You'll want to spray those every 2 to 3 months, or even more often, depending on how much it's used and how much it's out in the sun. With a rubber seal conditioner, we have videos on seals and things like that. And we also, there's a rail underneath. You have 2 big rails on both sides with teeth that go into the gear box down there. So you want to spray that with a dry lubricant. And it's not the same stuff as this. So you want to make sure you have both separate cans. And that'll help keep everything in the gear side moving freely. It also helps dust not attract to it, and dirt. And that's pretty much it for the slide out, besides always wanting to make sure that you sweep off the roof before you run it in. Back here you have your dump station. This unit particularly only has 2 tanks. You have a black tank, which is always the bigger of the two. So you can see this is a 3-inch tank. So that's your toilet, and then the gray handle, the smaller opening, is the gray tank. So you'll just, when you're at your campsite, before you before you start camping, you'll always want to make sure that these are closed, because this cap does seal very well, and if you don't have, say, your black tank closed and you start using it, it's all going to back up behind this cap, and then when you take this cap off, you know what's going to happen. So you always want to make sure that these two handles are closed before you start using it. After you're done, when you get to your dump station, you'll just want to unscrew your cap, screw your hose on, put it into the dump site, and always do your black tank first. Pull the handle, just pull straight out. Wait till it's completely done, close it, and then you can do your gray. And that gray is your kitchen, bathroom, sink, and shower, so it's cleaner water. That'll help flush out the black tank water from your hose, and it'll also help clean everything up in here with a little bit cleaner water, so it helps sanitize better and also prevents any backwashing into your gray tank. Let's see, we've got storage here too. Nice big open storage, you put a lot in there. These keys are a standard 751 key. That key's been used since the early 70s, so everybody has that key. So it's pretty easy to find, so everybody will have one just in case you lose it. Of course, your sewer hose can fit in your bumper here. That's one place to store it on the unit instead of keeping it up in your storage with all your valuables. Put that back on. You got a coax for TV, cable. This unit has an antenna on the roof, but if you go to a park that has cable, you can hook in here and you can run your channel scan on cable and see what you can pick up from there. Has a standard 30 amp attached power cord to this camp. This isn't removable, it just comes out and it'll stop when it's all the way out. When you're done, you just roll it in, close the cap, and you'll be good to go. Now you have two sources of water on every camper. This one's your city water. It's the one that's most frequently used. It's got, basically you want to hook up your hose. The best way to do it is if you're at a campsite with water, you want to put a pressure regulator on the end of the faucet that they have. Run your hose from here into there, turn it on, and you'll have unlimited water supply, just like you would at home. Just always want to make sure that you use a pressure regulator. They keep the pressure at a constant 45 to 50 psi. Parks sometimes run higher than that, or they can have surges, and that can cause broken fittings, water leaks. You know, it can really ruin your weekend. Let's see, back here, this one has a second door into the bathroom. Down here you have a coax out, so if you wanted to supply the cable or the antenna with a TV out here, you just screw your coax cable in, plug in your TV, and you're good to go. From here, you have your refrigerator vent. I'll just turn these with my finger, or a coin if you have one. And there's not much in here you should have to mess with. The main thing that this is open, that you can allow access into here, is to clean it out. You want to make sure that this can breathe at all times, especially when it's hot. You don't want anything blocking this vent at all. So you always want to make sure that this is open. You didn't get somebody put something on the side of the unit and it's blocking the airflow. That will cause the fridge not to work. So just keep this cleaned out every 3 to 6 months. And always make sure that this little hose, when you put it back on, is sticking through the outside. That's a condensation drip hose, so if you ever see it dripping water out, it's supposed to do that. Alright, so from there we'll go to your furnace. Now this is the furnace exhaust, so all this is going to do is blow out hot air in exchange for new air. So the main thing you want to worry that you need to know about these is you always want to have a mud dauber screen on this at pretty much all times, because mud daubers mainly are attracted to LP gas, so they smell it and they go back in there and they build their big mud nests, and it can cause up a blockage in the squirrel cage, and then your furnace don't run, and it could also break the squirrel cage too. So we sell mud dauber screens. They go in here, they're really easy to put on with a little spring. Fresh tank supply, so if you're going somewhere that doesn't have a city water connection, you can fill this tank up before you leave or when you first get there, and then you'll flip your water pump on when you get inside. I'll show you, and you can run off that supply also. It's just a limited supply, usually around 35 to 40 gallons on a typical trailer this size. Below you'll have a drain. This one's got the big Valterra 2-inch on it, so it's just a simple pull and push drain, just like your fresh tank. So no caps or screws you have to mess with, just open and close. So always close that before you try to fill up your tank. Water heater. Now your water heater, this particular one is LP only. You'll have this inside in your coach, which is the anode rod. So basically this protects the inner walls of the tank. The bad calcium and minerals in the water, they attack this rod instead of getting into the walls of the tank. Helps keep it clean. You'll want to replace this maybe every 6 months to a year, depends. You'll want to check. It'll be about coat hanger thin before you need to actually replace it. But once it starts getting all nasty and chewed up, just go ahead and replace it. Doesn't hurt to keep one extra handy. This is an 1/16" socket, so basically all you'll do when you want to use this trailer is just go ahead and screw it in. Now tighten it down, snug it up good. And then when we get on the inside, I'll show you where to unbypass and how to start filling this tank. So if you're hooked up to city water, you will unbypass the water heater from the location I'll show you. Come out here and just hold this lever open until water starts shooting out up here. It's okay if anything gets wet. Once it's full and it starts shooting out water, just close it. And from there, you're ready to turn on the gas button on the inside and start using it. It should take about 20 minutes to get hot. After that, recovery is a little bit quicker. What else we got? That's pretty much it on the outside. We'll show the awning real quick. The awning's got a button right here. It's just simple in and out operation. Auto adjusting arms. So they will collapse on their own if it builds up with too much water. You don't usually want to let it get to that point, so if it is a heavier rain, you want to go ahead and run the awning back in. But if you see on the sides here, it's got 2 push button. They can't reach, but if you push these 2 tabs in and slide it down, that'll help drop one side so the water can run off if it is light rain. If you want to come on inside, one thing I'll show you as you walk in the door, this unit is equipped with the Furrion Access. It's basically what that is if you go to Furrion.com, if you wanted to, you could purchase a separate wireless router that plugs in place of this cover, and that way you have 4G and Wi-Fi access inside your trailer, which is a nice new feature they're doing on most of these units. Here, doesn't have a TV in the unit, but if you wanted to, you could mount one. It's a pretty solid wall here. You could buy a mount, or we can install one for you, and you can put up to 32-inch, maybe even a little bit bigger TV right here. You have a DVD, CD player down here. Pretty easy to operate, just like most home ones. You have zone A and B. B is outside speakers, A is inside speakers. And of course, it's also Bluetooth. It's got USB drives, auxiliary if you want to hook in your phone and do it like that. Let's switch these spots. I'll show you over here about the tank levels. So, as I said out there, you have a gray, black, and a fresh tank. And this will tell you the levels in those tanks while you're camping. So if you want to push gray, which is your kitchen sink, bathroom sink, and shower, it'll tell you the level, so you can watch that as you're camping. Same with your black, fresh tank, and it also has a battery level for when you're not plugged in. It'll kind of give you a rough idea where your battery's at. Water heater, like I said before, once you fill up the water heater, you can flip this switch on, make sure your LP gas is on, and it'll light. You'll hear it light. Like I said, give about 20 minutes and it'll get hot. You should have hot running water through all of your kitchen and bathroom sinks. If you do use the water pump, like I said, on the fresh tank only, if you're hooked up in the back to city water, you will not need that. But here at the fresh tank, if you're dry camping, you want to fill up the tank, flip your pump button on. It'll pressurize once it gets water into the lines, and then you can use it just like that. We also have the slide out. I'll run that out here at the end, and we'll show you how that works. Like I said before, the awning's in and out. Very simple. You have light switches. You have the awning lights that were on outside, interior and exterior lights. Really easy. This unit has a 110 fireplace. It does not use LP. It uses 110. Now I do have the So it has multiple different buttons up here, and it also has a remote. You just got a timer. You can go from 30 minutes up to 9 hours. You got low and high settings for your heat, and these put out pretty good heat. So you know, it's got multiple different color combinations you can do, which is nice, different flames. So this is really nice, especially if you don't want to use any LP, or maybe you ran out. This is plenty enough to heat a single room camper like this one. Down here you have a central vac system. The hoses and everything usually are underneath your bed when you pick up, but it's pretty simple. You'll want to push the hose in here, turn it on, and vacuum up your floor. One thing to tell about this, because we have heard this call a couple times, is whenever you turn this on, this will kill the power to the microwave. It's meant to do that as a safety on a 30 amp coach. So when I turn it on, shut it off, you'll hear the microwave beep. That's okay, it's supposed to do that. You always have your manuals, usually in one of your drawers in your units from us. And back here is where your water heater bypass will be. Now I don't have the panel down, but if you unscrew these two screws and we remove the panel, there's going to be one valve back there that you'll turn on the back of the water heater. Just turn that valve. That'll allow your water heater to start filling, and then from there you can go on, like I said earlier. Standard microwave, just like any household microwave. You have a fan and light combo over your stove. The new Furrion stoves are really nice. They have a push button light with some blue LEDs, and then you have pretty standard. It's got an automatic fire it up. You want to turn it, just give it a few sparks until it lights. Now if it's been off for a while, you might have to sit there and do that a few times until it actually gets gas up to this point. Oven light's the same way. I guess I'll say that real quick. You'll want to turn it to 350 wherever you want to be at. There's a flame button you'll want to start at. Go ahead and click it. You'll get spark. So with these, there's no more manual lighting of the ovens. Converter down here. Now this has got 15 amp fuses in it and 240 amps. This fuse side controls your 12 volts. So if you ever lost lights or power to the awning or slide out or something, you might want to check one of these fuses. Most of them do have a light next to them that if it blows and there's power to be pulled from it, it will light up and tell you which fuse it is. You also have your main 110 breakers here, so that's your air conditioner, GFI microwave. So if ever one of those is not working, you always want to check here first. Then we have a standard Norcold fridge. This has got auto and gas. Auto will run off electric first. If it gets unplugged, it'll automatically switch to gas. We do have videos on specific fridges on both of our pages. So if you want to look further into those, we have those available. You also have your thermostat back here, which is like most home thermostats. You have cool, fan, off, and heat. Right now we're in the cool mode. We got it on auto. So if you're running cool, you always want to be in the auto mode, high too. And select your temperature. This will, you want to keep it on high most of the time in the summer, because if it's on low, what'll happen is it could freeze up because it's not moving quick enough. The air's not flowing through the system fast enough, and it causes them sometimes to freeze up because it's so hot out. So you always want to leave it on high and on auto when you're using the air conditioner. Now if you want to go to fan, we just want the fan to run, no compressor, then you'll flip this over to high or low, and you can use the low or high section when you're using just the fan. Then also the heat, same thing, just keep it on auto high, turn it all the way over to heat, turn it to the temperature desired. Make sure your LP tanks are on. Sometimes it might take a couple tries to light, so if it doesn't light your first time, go ahead and shut it off, give it a minute, and try it again. Sometimes it needs to bleed out the air in the lines of the LP. Down here you have an LP leak detector. These are 12 volt wired to the battery, so always make sure that that green light's on and it's working. If it detects any LP leaks, LP is heavy and it rides against the floor, it's gonna it'll go off. You'll want to leave the unit, shut off your LP tanks, and let it air out for a little bit. Last thing's the bathroom. Not too much in here. You have a standard toilet. It's got the push button or push foot lever flusher, so if you want to fill it up, you'll just barely want to push on it until you see water coming in. Fill it up. Once you're done, push it all the way down and it'll flush. And fill it back up when you're done. Showers, pretty self-explanatory, hot and cold. Same with the sink. You also have a GFI outlet here. If any of your outlets that are near water aren't working, the outside ones or the ones near the kitchen, if those aren't working, you might want to come in here and make sure that the green light's on. If it gets tripped, just like most homes, you'll have a reset. Push the reset, and you're good to go. Let's see, what else do we have in this coach? I think back here, that's about it. This does have another TV mount location, so if you wanted to put another TV in, you could, or we could if you want, if you'd like. It'll hook up into this coax. If not, you got a couple outlets up there to hang your chargers from or something. More outlets on both sides. It's got underbed storage, quite a bit of it too. That's where your hoses and most of your cranks are. Really, the last thing would be the emergency exit. This here, you'll want to pull that out, lever out, push out. You rip the screen out, which it's okay to do, and then if you had to escape, you could. But you could just leave it like this, just get some air flowing through here. So, go ahead and shut that up. Blinds back down. And I think that's it. This is Greg with Walnut Ridge. This is the Hideout 272 LHS.
Oh, yeah.